Remittance to Ghana will reduce by close to 40% this year as COVID-19 continues to ravage world economies. Now, data from the International Labour Organization reveals that close to 1 million jobs have so far been lost to the virus globally. Today, we turn our attention to the Ghanaian businesses in the U.S. as the president of the Brooklyn Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Randy Pierce, as well as Jerry Kwabena Adinkra, the Brooklyn Ambassador Office of the Brooklyn Borough President, who also doubles as Executive Director of the Ghanaian American Heritage and Culture, joins us via Zoom for this extensive discussion. So I want to start off with you, the President of the Brooklyn Chamber. We're so grateful that you joined us. First of all, what will be the next phase of trade between Ghana and the United States under the Brooklyn Chamber?
Good afternoon, and thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you today. We have a long-lasting relationship in terms of trade with Ghana. I think before COVID, it was about a $1.8 billion trade relationship. Ghana's economy had been expanding rapidly, and there was quite a bit of interest in investment in Ghana itself. Also here in the United States, obviously, you have a strong Ghanaian community of immigrants that have started businesses and that are part of the local economy, particularly here in Brooklyn. In fact, there's probably about 50,000 Ghanaians who live in Brooklyn. So we were looking to strengthen that trade relationship. And in fact, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce was working with Jerry and the Ghanaian Chamber of Commerce in order to create a trade mission. We wanted to do that this past fall. Obviously, we cannot, but we will get back on track, I believe, as soon as we beat this virus and we get a vaccine. So from our perspective, this is a challenge. COVID has become a challenge in many respects, but I think we can get the trade relationship back online. And I think we can continue to grow our trade relationship with Ghana.
Randy, it's interesting you mentioned COVID-19 because we do know in the United States, for instance, the knife-edge elections, between Trump and, Joe Biden means a whole lot of a big deal for Ghanaians living in the States, including Africans. How does a Biden win brighten the prospect of trade agreements back home?
I mean, I think it's a positive for our long-term relationship. I think President Biden, or President-elect Biden, is much more open to international engagement. I think that includes on the trade front. And I believe that the relationship had been strong prior to this election. And I think it will just strengthen as we transition into a new administration here in the United States. So I'm very positive and very bullish on expanded trade under a Biden administration.
Great. I believe we have Jerry also on the line. Jerry, if you could hear me, you've been engaging Ghanaian businesses time on and time off. COVID-19 has struck. What exactly are they telling you?
Thank you so much, Mr. Charles Aite. Can you hear me?
You're loud and clear.
Thank you so much. For bringing us on such a great program. Yes, the COVID-19 has been very disastrous, as we all know. As the president of Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Randy, has already said. We have a couple of Ghanaian businesses in Brooklyn, to be specific, the African market, the African restaurants, those that they are into doctor's office and stuff like that, talking to them, meeting them, encouraging them, and even talking to Ghanaian community to go and support them. And I think it's almost a month ago when Mr. Randy embarked on his, black businesses in Brooklyn, to be specific, Flatbush. I was so glad I could see the kind of leadership he has. And so many times he has been reaching out to me, Jerry, do you have any Ghanaian businesses that the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce can support?
I can imagine. Wow. I can imagine that. Yeah. But for anyone out there seeking to relocate to the U.S. and start a business, you've been there for quite a while now. What advice do you have to give them amidst COVID-19?
Relocating to do business in the U.S. now, regards to where we are, our demographics, the rent are very high. And now businesses are idle globally, not even in Brooklyn. And the rent in Brooklyn is very expensive. And those with good money, they have a program called Ye5, if I'm not wrong, those that they want to invest. If you have that kind of money, I think it's range around $300,000 to $500,000. So when you come, they give you your documentation right there as an investor. So these are some of the conversation that I'm having with Randy in regards to trade mission.
Interesting.
Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, and yeah.
Interesting. If I could bring in Randy shortly. Randy, these are unusual times, and definitely we do know that it's definitely going to impact on remittances, not just from the U.S., but across other economies around the world. What is the case of the U.S., especially within the Brooklyn Chamber, when it comes to remittances to Ghana?
Yeah, so I think part of the issue for, in particular, the New York City region and the Ghanaian community that's here, we were the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic for a period of time in April and May. So our economy is lagging behind in terms of a local recovery. Our unemployment rate is twice that of the national average. So that's impacting all of New Yorkers, all Brooklynites, and in particular also those in the Ghanaian immigrant community. However, I will say that, notwithstanding a new shutdown, and we're talking about a spike in cases recently, but if we can get past this spike, the economy had been rebounding and people have been getting back to work, including many Ghanaians who, by the way, own businesses and they employ other people as well. So
Great.
I think that will get back on track. I hope and pray it will get back on track. I hope we won't have another wholesale shutdown. And I think you'll see those remittances pick up again in 2021.
Larry, Jerry, we're so grateful that you joined us. And of course, congratulations to both of you. I believe you did win the COVID-19 Heroes Award recently by the Bureau Chamber. We're so grateful, and we send our congratulatory messages